Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for being part of the Inspire and Connect set. It's wonderful to have all of you here. Let's jump straight in on the connection between Bpifrance and the French African Foundation. Recent signing of an agreement. What does that mean to you guys? Tell us a little bit about it. Start off.
Okay. So first maybe a short word to introduce the French African Foundation. So since our creation in 2019, our mission is to empower and showcase the next generation of French and African leaders. So we've built a strong network of leaders across more than 40 African countries. And among these leaders, the entrepreneurs are very important, actually massive. So this partnership with Bpifrance for us is very important because it's about inspiring, it's about highlighting these profiles, connecting people, as we're here, all of us today, at this Inspire and Connect. Entrepreneurs, creators in Africa needs connection, needs highlighting their success story because the narrative is very important.
And Bpifrance's connection, other than same sort of inspirations?
Exactly the same, three keywords: innovation, I would say innovation, collaboration, and most importantly, talents. Talents that are part of the Young Leader programs, and this is precisely why we wanted to partner with the foundation, because they managed to set up this amazing network for the last how many years now?
4 years.
4 years of this network, vibrant network of young and less young people, business leaders, on a pan-African scale. And this is precisely at the heart of what we do, inspiring, connecting. And there are many, this event is another step, but there are many new and promising steps coming up.
Yeah, what we want to do with Bpifrance is to connect people, to inspire them, to give them a platform actually to create together and to build bridges between France and Africa.
A perfect segue to young talent that has been part of this this program. Angela, tell me a little bit about what this has brought for you personally. What doors did it open? How useful was it?
I think as a starting point, the access to the extensive Pan-African, group of leaders provided me the opportunity to build my network outside of my traditional comfort zone. I was also on the lookout for global platforms and networks that I could rely upon to drive, successful and meaningful discussions about change. And I was able to comfortably get that from the leadership program run by the French African Foundation. The other thing it did for me was to grow me. It was more like a confidence boost. And like I mentioned earlier, I think it was one of the experiences that inspired the thought process around me making the move to New York. So to that extent, it has been quite, instrumental in reshaping not just my career path, but also my life generally.
And how does this kind of a platform, this kind of an organization, differ from, there's so many leadership organizations. There's the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders. There is the BMW Foundation's Young Leaders program. How does this differentiate? And do you focus, obviously you don't focus just on countries that have a background to France in Africa, but you're focusing across the continent. So how is this different? What else do you want to achieve, or hope to achieve by putting this all together?
Yeah, thank you for that question. That is very important. Actually, one thing that is at the core of our mission is to promote African excellence. And I think that makes a difference because we've been talking about the narrative. There's an African excellence that needs to be promoted internationally, but in France also. But there's also French excellence in Africa that needs to be promoted. So I guess that's one part that makes a difference between our program and the other one is that we're really committed in identifying these talents and promoting them to driving change, innovation, and growth, impactful growth across Africa. So, I mean, like, in our mission, communication is very important. We have to showcase that.
And so since 2021 and the first summit, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2021, right? The next one is going to be in 2020.
So the first one was in 2019, and the next one, we're going to launch the call of application end of this year, beginning of 2020.
That's a big gap between 2019 and 2026.
There were many cohorts.
Okay, so you did continue to have gatherings and meetings and things like that, because having 7 years is a long time.
Actually, our Young Leader program, our flagship program, we launch it each year. It consists concretely in 1 week of training, meetings, networking in France, and 1 week in an African country. The specificity is under high patronage of the French president and of an African head of state that hosts actually the program. So we did it in Senegal, in Ghana. Last year we were in Rwanda, and next year, surprise. But you're right, our network is very important. We need to animate that network, to mobilize them. So we organize regular events in different African countries where we are based, and in France also.
And approximately how many people in each cohort when you do it?
Yeah, so it changed a bit. So now it's around 30 people. It's not around, actually, it's very specific. So it's 30 people. It's gender balanced. And to share with you some key figures, we have 180 alumni, gender balanced, across more than 40 African countries, and operating in more than 30 sectors. They are entrepreneurs, of course, but not only. We also have artists, soccer players, the civil servants. I mean, it's very...
And how do you choose who comes in? I mean, Angela, did you just apply and got in, or is there certain criteria that you have to meet, or do you go out and find people?
I didn't think I would get in as a lawyer, actually. As a corporate lawyer, let me rephrase that. But I was pleasantly surprised that I got in. I found that quite different. And I was also pleasantly surprised to find that I had a football player and a news anchor as co-laureates, and that kind of diversity, including CEOs as co-laureates. And I think that kind of diversity in a network, particularly when you are in the mid-level of your career where you're trying to grow, can be quite instrumental because of the diversity and differences in experiences, that it provides.
And so do you have an application process?
Yeah.
You put out a call for applicants?
Exactly. We launched a big call of application, a pan-African one, actually international one, in all African countries, in France too. And you have to respond to some very specific criteria: to be under 40 years old, at least 3 years of professional experience with strong leadership skills and impact, proven impact. You have to be African or French. You have also to wish to build bridges, of course, between Africa and France.
So there are French entrepreneurs that are part of this as well. And is it again a sort of a 50-50 between Africa and France, or is there more emphasis on the African side?
More emphasis on the African side. Let's say that by cohort it's around 85% African and 15% binational. Sometimes you have French African ones and also French ones committed in Africa, based here.
And Arnaud, do you, as Bpifrance, do you look at possible connections, recruitments, collaborations with some of these entrepreneurs? Do you keep an eye on what some of them are doing and see where it can benefit Bpifrance as well in terms of your own business and them?
Most definitely, but the core of it is about promoting, the World Network, inspiring as many young people first to candidate, and then to move the needle at the Pan-African scale. It's about entrepreneurship. I mentioned innovation. Really, it's about risk-taking. It's about celebrating risk-takers, and this is why we are partnering with the program and the foundation. And this is what we were doing across all our Pan-African bureaus, the offices, from Casablanca, Dakar, Abidjan, to here in Nairobi. So that's really a very organic approach.
So if I was one of your cohorts and one of the members, and I had a plan, could I come to the foundation and say, listen guys, this is my vision for building a organization or a company, and I need $5 million or euros of funding? Is that something that you guys can then see if you can get like-minded cohorts together, or candidates together, to build this plan out? Is that part of the thing, is to create new businesses, new ventures between the different colleagues or the different cohorts?
Okay, so concretely, if that happens, what I would answer first is, of course, we will look at it. We won't be able, the foundation, to invest in it, but as we said with Arnaud and Angela, we have a strong network, and we can see how we can connect people, and we can connect them. Of course, they can also apply to our program, and I have a concrete example to share. So in the same cohort of Angela, we had two young leaders. One is Pierre Fauvet, who is based here in Nairobi. He's the CEO of Creadev Africa. Nk Wadike, who is the CEO of Victory Farms. They met with the Young Leaders Program. And guess what? Actually, Pierre was the leading investor in Victory Farms with $35 million. So it's strong.
Fantastic, fantastic. Guys, carry on.
If I may jump in and put my banker hats, because Bpifrance is a bank, even though we are engaged in this fight for entrepreneurship and the values all across the world, obviously we can finance, and that's the strength of the network. And no matter wherever the project is, no matter the scale, obviously we look closely at it, no matter if it's a startup for SMEs or for larger scale projects.
Wonderful. Guys, we've run out of time. Unfortunately, we could take this conversation for a very long time. It's very interesting. Thank you very much for being a part of this. We really appreciate it. Enjoy, inspire, connect. Thank you.